And welcome back to episode 7 of the UFL Newsletter Podcast. I am your host, Commissioner Cole Wagner, and we're back with the boy, Jared Bear, Jared Snyder. Jared, how you doing tonight? You watching some football, baby?
I'm doing good. Enjoying all the preseason football we've been getting, all the exciting plays.
Did you watch Raiders Seahawks last night? I forgot to ask you.
Yes, I did actually. That field goal block, I was sitting there talking to Evan and I was like, do they go to OT in preseason? And I
No,
was like, I
no.
can't remember ever a time they've done that. And
Yeah.
then I was watching the kick and then they blocked it and I was like, oh, that's it. All right, that's the game.
I
So, I
mean, as
mean,
it should be, as it should be. So yeah, man. So everything's going good. Off season is slowly dead. Like we are back. Football is back. The UFL draft is over. We recapped it. We've had articles about the draft, the trades that happened in the draft. So now what we kind of want to get into is let's start the team previews, and it starts today with an owner who is bound to make a run at this thing, Jared. Like we're talking top three contender for the cup this year, in my personal opinion. He has high return rate from not just last year, but even his draft class from last year. He pretty much brought everybody back from that draft class. Like he barely had any drops on the waiver wire last year. It's been a very consistent team. There's just one position that held him back last year. We'll get into it today. I'll let you take it away. It is the general, Andrew Stiffel. Jared, how are you feeling about Andrew going in to 2025?
all right. Looking at Andrew's team, I feel like the starting lineup, it's it's up there with Devin and up with the best of the best. All of his players, they can score a bunch of points. They're all going to get plenty of opportunities. But when looking at the team, I'm most worried about his quarterbacks. I feel like his quarterbacks would be the scariest part for him next year.
Okay. Okay. So we are referring to CJ Stroud, who he's bringing back after, let's just say, an up and down
Mm,
2024. I mean, actually, matter of fact, let's just call it what it is,
yeah.
poor. Like it was a poor 2024. He started off well the first two games. And then I think the biggest problem, Jared, is the bad was just really bad last year for Stroud and the Texans. Now, what is your thoughts on CJ and that Texans offense this year?
I'm optimistic in that they maybe can get something new going, and it could have just been problems with the offensive philosophy last year. They swapped offensive coordinators, so we'll have to see what that looks like when we get some preseason action. Maybe we can get an early glimpse of what they're going to be trying to do more.
Mhm.
But with Mixon injured and the guy that they're looking to go to is Nick Chubb, I'm feeling like the run game is not going to be as effective to be take a load off of Stroud. And the biggest problem last year was Stroud was in the top 10 and facing two high safeties. So
Mm.
they were removing Stroud from the equation. And that's definitely something that they need to be able to get them to bring the safety down. So if they can't run the ball, I think Stroud's going to be having a similar year.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right. I'm honestly shocked to hear that too. And what that tells me is that last year because Stroud was one of the most sacked quarterbacks, that tells me every team thinks they can win with four up front against
Hmm.
this offensive line. And when you do that, when you allow teams to just play too high, play quarters, you just protect over the top and just funnel everything down below because they think they can win with four and we don't need to have fire zones and send pressure. That's scary, not just from a football but like a fantasy perspective. Like now we're missing out on yards, right, and
Yep.
touchdowns and first down. So it's a big part, and I think that's a fascinating stat. Now what we hope to see is, let's see a healthy Nico Collins for a full year. Let's see a
Hmm.
wide receiver room that can stay on the football field. And I think that was good that Stephon Diggs, granted, I think he'll recover, but he's moved on. Tank Dell is now out. So we got some young guys, Jalen Noel, Jaden Higgins. Do you think these rookies can help elevate Stroud's performance?
From watching any reports coming out of camp, I don't think it's the rookies that are making the impact. It seems like Christian Kirk has been the guy that's been showing up in camp, actually. So I think Christian Kirk is stepping into that Tank Dell role, and he's been thriving in it, apparently, out of early reports.
Okay. Okay. Good to know. So we discuss quarterback. Obviously, from a cap perspective, Stroud is there at $9 million. Now, we must talk about Matthew Stafford and not just this year, but let's also look moving forward. I'm going to go on a limb and say this is probably Stafford's. If it's not his last year in the NFL, it's his last year with Andrew's team. Because if Stroud does get this extension and he does become extension eligible after this season in real life, which will bump up his UFL cap if he gets extended, that would mean Stafford is gone because of Andrew's tight cap space. What is your thoughts on Stafford? Have you heard anything about this back problem he seems to be having? Is he going to be available for the season? And do you think Andrew needs to be thinking, do I drop Stafford for Sam Darnold? Do I make a trade? What is your thoughts?
I think with Stafford right now, I mean, we've had the back and the neck issues with him in the past. So I'm feeling like Stafford he's at a point where this is just going to be an issue for him regardless. But it seems like he's okay with that. And it seems like in the offseason, he's not happy about it. But when it's time to play, it doesn't seem like he lets it affect him too badly.
Yeah, 100%. So what else did you notice or thinking of when
I'm thinking that Stafford, out of the two this year, if he wants to make a push when it comes playoff time or when he needs a tough week, I feel like Stafford's his better go than Stroud. Until we see Stroud go out there and not turn the ball over and can consistently perform, I think Stafford's the guy because if you think about it, he was down Puka Nacua at the beginning of the year. He
yeah.
had aged Cooper Cup, which I know he's on my team, so I mean, I'm not going to bash him too bad.
Yeah.
But if you're looking at the roster right now, we have Puka Nacua
Mhm.
coming in at the one probably. And
Yep.
then Devonte Adams coming in, I would say is probably an upgrade over Cooper Cup at this point. Even if it's not in like specific like roles,
No,
but
you're
where
right.
they're at in their career, I feel like Devonte is going to be doing a lot more for the Rams than Cooper Cup was probably last year.
A hundred
And I feel
percent.
like that just gives them I feel like it just gives Stafford more opportunities to spread the ball out and actually like run the offense rather than having to run it through one player. Whoever's hot that week, he can go through.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. Like the thing to me, Jared, is it always felt like they were trying to fit because Puka Nacua was built for Cooper Cup's role. And when Cooper Cup got healthy, it was like, okay, we'll slide Puka out to X, I guess, and we'll keep Cooper in the slot. And then like it was like two peas in a pod. They're kind of the same archetype. Now what you are able to do is let's get Puka in his destined position. Don't get me wrong, he's very versatile. He can play anywhere.
Hmm.
Let's get him more around the slot. Let's give him off the line of scrimmage, get him in motion. And now we got Devonte Adams as our X receiver on the boundary that we can just throw out there instead of Demarcus Robinson. That was their X receiver.
Yes, yes.
Like that, I think that's a massive game changer for this offense. And I tell you what, ESPN is noticing that. I had no idea Stafford is projected 22 more points on the season. Granted, not a whole lot more, but I didn't know
Yeah.
Stafford was projected more than Stroud. So I think you're right. I think Andrew holds on to Stafford. He may end up starting Stafford over Stroud. And ironically, week one they play each other.
Yeah, no, right? It's the
Yeah.
battle of the quarterbacks.
Yeah, so I'll let you take it away from here. Anything else regarding Andrew's team?
Um,
I thought that position was very interesting.
I mean, ignoring the quarterbacks, I would like you to tell me who do you think is the difference maker on his team in a good way or a bad way? Who's holding him back or who's going to elevate his team?
Here's what I think. I think Andrew has built such a good roster, but his bench, granted, it is excellent depth. Do not get me wrong. But let's call a spade a spade. They are a little bit injury prone. We are seeing an aging Matthew Stafford. We are seeing a Chris Godwin that probably will not be 100%, if at all, this season. TJ Hawkinson's bound to miss a couple games. And the thing to me is Marvin Harrison Jr. That is your X factor.
Hmm.
Unbelievable draft pick. He got Brian Thomas Jr. 68th overall last year. Cannot believe I didn't draft him. I was so close. I could have had an all LSU wide receiver room. Anyways, Lamb, you know you're going to get two top 10 wide receivers there. You're going to get two top 10, top 15, maybe top 5 running backs with Bucky and then Kenneth Walker. Marvin Harrison Jr. Now, what I want to see is I read a stat that Marvin Harrison Jr. was on the line of scrimmage as X receiver, not in motion, not anything else, over 80% of his snaps. So they did not give him any help. They threw him on an island and told him, you got to go win because no one else in our team is going to do that. Only like three receivers of the last 10 years were asked to do that. George Pickens was one of them, and I forget the other two. But like, I want to see this Cardinals offense give Marvin Harrison Jr. a chance to actually succeed and give what I call layup routes where you're putting him in motion and you're giving him free access. And I would like to see that. And if they don't, is he going to succeed in that offense? Andrew needs him to be a 15, 20 point per game guy. That's it. He doesn't need him to be a superstar like we thought he would when he drafted Marvin, I think, fifth overall last year. You've got that with BTJ and CeeDee Lamb. It's going to come down to Marvin Harrison Jr. And if we look at last year, I'm already seeing two games, one of these games, 0 points, 4 games, 5 games. Now that's 2 games with 0 points, 6 games, 7 games, single digits, three of them. No, no, no. Yeah, three of them were 0 point performances. Jared, that is going to kill you. Kill
Yeah.
you.
Oh
It's
yeah.
not I'm not asking for a 45 piece, a 35 piece. I'm saying 18, 15, 12, 20 points on the regular will get Andrew into the playoffs and maybe into the UFL Cup. It's going to come down to Marvin Harrison Jr. What's your thoughts on him?
That's exactly the guy I have circled on the sheet. But I'm curious on because there's people, I mean, they always are posting the clips of Kyler and they're like showing Marvin Harrison running down the sideline wide open and Kyler's not throwing him the ball. Now, like that, there could be some missing context to some of these clips. So I wanted to find out this year, is it Marvin? Is it the Cardinals? Is it Kyler? Somebody is not delivering on what the expectation is. And
Mhm.
the only stat I have that I think adds maybe a little bit of context to it, to piggyback off yours, you said that he was being put on like an island, basically having to get his own separation, not getting
Right.
any of those layup routes.
Right.
I believe he was finishing in, I don't know the exact number, but he was definitely in the bottom quadrant of average separation on his routes. So he was apparently struggling to just get any separation on these routes. So it made me wonder if those clips that people like to post of where Kyler's missing them, if there's something else going on there, or if they're just
Yeah.
looking for something.
Yeah. And like, a lot of times too, those are on scramble drills or routes on air.
Oh yeah, no,
Like
yeah,
that just happens. But no, no, no. I'm sure there's times where he missed him. But like let's not act like Marvin had some kind of elite season and just didn't get thrown the ball. Like you said, he was struggling to get separation. And there is this weird context, and don't get me wrong, I love him because of Ohio State, but like
yeah,
people seem to think he's a 50-50 ball kind of winner kind of guy. He's not. He was that in 2022, I think, his sophomore year, I want to say, or one of his early years in Ohio State. And then he totally dropped off. Like, he's not that guy. Like, he's not a guy who's going
yeah,
to win these 50-50 balls. He is a technician. Like, he's got great feet work, good red zone target. Like, but I'm not seeing the superstar traits quite yet. And the separation is a problem. Like he gained muscle this offseason. I didn't
yeah,
want to see, but I don't really want to see like I don't want to see you get bigger. I want to see you get faster. And
yeah.
that's my problem. Like I don't know how he did on against press. And actually, I'm going to go look that up right now. But like you said, man, I want to see him get open and win against press. So he's going to be the X factor, in my opinion. He is absolutely going to be the X factor, in my opinion. And I'm going to pull this up right now for everybody at home. Okay. So success by route. So the Cardinals had him running. Obviously, green means good, and green means a lot of routes. Yellow means average. Red means he didn't run a lot of post routes. And on this side, it means he was bad at this route. So obviously, he's not a go ball winner. Like you said, he was not separating. He's not a vertical. Now, what he is he has good hip fluidity and he can cut. So we're talking corner routes, post routes, digs, outs. Like this is all good. Like he actually performed pretty well. And then looking how he did against man, that's 75th percentile, 80th percentile against press. So it looked like it was probably more of Kyler than it was Marvin. And like I said right here, static deployment. What does that mean? It means here it is. Most of the passing concepts run through the X receiver in Drew Petzing's offense. Now, to shorten this up, because I know that was a long spiel, it's going to be about Marvin Harrison Jr. If he can just be a 15 point per game player, Andrew goes a long way. And obviously, getting a better CJ Stroud.
Absolutely. No, Andrew's team in as it is right now, he could go out there and compete with everybody's team.
Yeah.
Now, if his quarterbacks come up short on any day, he can lose just like everybody else.
Yep.
And I think it really comes down to if Marvin Harrison takes the next step,
Hmm.
he's in a great spot. If not,
Yep.
he's going to be in the exact same spot he was last year. He's going to be getting 0 point performances. His roster is just going to have gaps, and he's not going to be able to compete with the best of the best.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And just looking at this wide receiver room, so from a cap standpoint, obviously CeeDee Lamb locked in at 34 million, Godwin at 22 million. So Godwin re-signs on a 3-year, $66 million extension. Last season, now he had it looks like a really serious, I think it's ankle, right? Isn't that where he
Yep.
messed up? Like, so now I'm already starting to think ahead, like if Andrew gets tight to the cap, like now, because you can rock Marvin and BTJ with CeeDee Lamb, like is Godwin a trade candidate? One, if things go south out of nowhere this season by the deadline, or two, in the offseason. What do you think about Chris Godwin as a player and then as a fantasy person on Andrew's team?
I would say go back. Can you pull up the fantasy app on Andrew's team and click Godwin's stats from last year? Because I know in regular, I don't know if it was different for our league necessarily, but his number, like look at those numbers. I believe in the regular leagues, like regular PPR leagues, he was wide receiver 2 when he went down.
Oh yeah, no, he was balling, dude. I mean, look at it. Like these are
Yeah,
phenomenal.
no, I mean like absolutely insane.
Yeah,
So the question to me then is I think it benefits Andrew, what I'm about to say is we can take this Godwin information
yeah.
and we can move that. We can assume that that has something to do with Liam Cohen, probably. Liam Cohen's going over to Jacksonville.
Hmm.
I'm expecting that kind of those numbers from Godwin to probably transition over to not necessarily Brian Thomas. Maybe Travis Hunter takes on the Godwin role.
Yeah, I
But
see what
now
you're
we're going to
saying.
see Brian Thomas getting even more touchdowns, I'm imagining, and getting more of that Mike Evans side of the ball. Because Mike Evans, I think he had 11 touchdowns last year.
Yeah,
If Brian gets 10 touchdowns, I don't know how many he had last year, but maybe I feel like that's going to be a difference maker for Brian. If he's not only getting the yards and he's getting the 100-yard games, he can get 3 more touchdowns on the year. Oh,
yeah,
that's the projection. Oh, no, he matched his last year, my bad.
yeah.
But I'm just expecting the Jaguars to be more effective at getting touchdowns. And I think Godwin was a good indicator that whoever is going to be working the slot for the Jaguars will be getting those big performances.
Yeah, 100%. Um, and actually, real quick, I just wanted to pull up just like looking at Andrew, just like how he's gotten to this point. Let's see. So I mean, we're talking about an owner who, for the first 3 years, he was always above 500. He was the second winningest owner, and he always grills me on this because I used to say, Andrew, you're the second winningest owner. He was like, I don't care, I haven't won a UFL Cup. Like, so I we always crack that joke. And then he has a really, really rough 2023. He totally fell off that year. And then last year he was completely rejuvenated. We saw an excellent draft. So we're talking about a really good owner. Now, the thing that has bit Andrew in the ass for years has been a good roster, a little bit of a slow start, and he immediately trades, and they are awful trades. I mean, we're talking, he gives me Lamar Jackson in 2022. Christian McCaffrey was dealt in 2020, like two as well, I think. Like he has made some abysmal trades because he just gets so impulsive. Whereas I think this dynasty format has really settled Andrew down, and
Hmm.
I think we're gonna see like a really serious threat as an owner. And I don't see a world, Jared, where Andrew doesn't make the playoffs in 2025.
I don't see that either outside of just a ridiculous injury
Yeah.
because I don't think anybody on the team is truly gonna fall off. I think his team will end up being at the same level. I just think those points might fluctuate a little bit. I think CD maybe with Pickens in the mix might not be wide receiver 3. He
Yeah.
might end up being more like wide receiver 6. But
Hmm.
I think those points that he's missing out on, I think Brian's gonna pick those up and maybe Bucky picks some more points up now
Hmm.
that the Bucks maybe go more with just him rather than
Rashad.
yeah, Rashad.
Yeah.
But I think Bucky, we watch if he gets if he doesn't have any fumbling issues. I don't think he really had too big of an issue with fumbling last year. I know he had a couple,
Yeah.
but
I'm actually not sure about that at all. I don't think it was big enough to where I feel like I would have known if it was a serious problem.
yeah.
So I don't think it's worth noting. I think that's an excellent point though. I haven't thought about that. BTJ is now getting Travis Hunter in the mix to maybe steal some targets. CeeDee Lamb's getting George Pickens to steal some targets. Chris Godwin's getting Emeka Buka to maybe steal some targets. So I see what you're saying on that. Or it could be vice versa, and CeeDee Lamb's going to get more production because George Pickens is now like more of a decoy. These guys
Yeah.
aren't doubled up anymore and have more room to work. So I think it could go either way. But like I said, man, barring injuries, just like you said, like there's no way Andrew does not come out. And I'm not just saying make the playoffs. I'm saying like we're probably talking about a top three finish. And looking at his schedule to start the year, it's gonna be we're talking about a potential UFL Cup like
Yeah.
matchup right here, week one against Devin. I am so fired up to see who wins that game. He then gets Mason week two. That's a little bit lighter. Owen, the battle of the brothers. So now I will tell you this. Five of his first six games, Jared, are against probably playoff teams. That's crazy. Like if we literally were to look at ESPN final standing projections right now in the power rankings, I know Devin's projected, Owen's projected, I'm projected, Brandon and Bryson. We're all projected. So that's a tough start to the year for Andrew. And we're talking about a banged up Godwin, a banged up Stafford. So like he needs his starters to stay healthy and produce right away because and oh, by the way, UFL Cup runner-up David's waiting there week seven. So if he can get through this front half of this gauntlet in the UFL, the back half is looking a lot lighter for Andrew. These first 7 weeks are going to be a grind. What do you think?
No, I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, that's not a very forgiving schedule. And I think Andrew's going to have to hope that his team is able to stick it out that whole time because I think if he's got his starters there, he might drop a couple of those games, but he's probably still going to be putting up 120, 130 points area to where
Right.
like he should be still feeling good compared
Mm-hmm.
to the rest of the league because there's
Yep.
probably going to be plenty of us that are going to be scoring under 100 some weeks. And that's just how it goes. You play your opponent and it doesn't work
Yep.
any other way.
Yeah, right.
But
What other notes did you have on his team? Any other points that you wanted to talk about?
I I found his insurance players is Kyle Williams and Ross Roshkan or Roshkan Johnson.
Yeah.
I'm wondering what he's thinking there. I don't know if he's trying to set up the future or what it was, maybe just cap stuff because I
Yeah.
know he's tight on the cap.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm looking to see Andrew if he's gonna make after week one. I don't know if he's watching anybody on the waivers that he doesn't want to make a move on yet. I have a few names that I've written down that are just people that I'm curious if after week one we find out no, this person's gonna be a bigger deal than we're giving him credit for.
Right. I actually really like the Kyle Williams play because he's $1 million. That's a good. Oh wow, Keenan Allen. I forgot about him. But I like I really like the Kyle Williams play. He's cheap, like he's affordable, and I think he's gonna be productive in New England. Like I think that was a good ad pickup, whatever. Roshan Johnson, like I was surprised he actually used a draft pick on Roshan Johnson. I think that's kind of funny. Like, I mean, he's Roshan Johnson. Like he's probably gonna get cut from Andrew's team. I'm not gonna lie. I was surprised he didn't just run it back with Nick Chubb. Like he had Nick Chubb last year. He could have brought his
Yeah.
entire roster back from 2024. That would have been cool, but I guess he's just parted ways with Chubb for no reason. So yeah, don't be surprised if he picks up a Chubb. But I think with Andrew, he took a big swing and he hit with Bucky Irving. And as long as Kenneth Walker stays healthy, and that's an if, like he can kind of have anybody he wants as RB3 because I don't think it's really gonna matter, you know? So
Yeah.
he's in a good spot to where I just don't think he cares because he doesn't need to care right now because he's all in on winning this year.
I would be interested. The only thing I see with the Johnson thing, I don't know if you agree with this, but we have Ben Johnson up in Chicago now.
Yeah.
And I already made the comparison that Loveland, I'm expecting to have a Laporta-like year. I'm wondering, do we expect the Bears to go in and try and find their David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs? Maybe not to the same like pedigree, but maybe the usage. And
Yeah.
maybe that's what Andrew was thinking there. He's like, this is, maybe this is going to be the other guy that Ben's going to try to use. But
Yeah, I could see it. Like they got DeAndre Swift right now. Um, I know they have Travis Homer, who's not going to be anything worth noting. I'm trying to think if they have any other. I guess Roshan's their number two. So yeah, you would have Swift as almost like a Gibbs, like he can be a receiving back, and then you have your Roshan Johnson, who's like your bruiser. So that would, I mean, if listen, Roshan Johnson is a great like one of the like he's a great goal line back. Like he can get you touchdowns. Like look at this
Yeah.
rushing touchdown, like two touchdowns. Like they'll bring him in the goal line, and that's kind of all you need. Like why not? But yeah, I think other than that, literally, other than the RB3 position, we are talking about a team who I am not going to be shocked in what month is this? August. So in 4 months from now, 4 or 5 months, we see Andrew with $1,000 in his pocket because I
Yeah.
think he has every position is maxed out. I think he has everything at his disposal. It's just gonna come down to health and just not bottoming out with Stroud and Marvin Harrison Jr. Everybody else looks ready to go, and I think this team is poised. Yeah, what do you have anything else regarding Andrew?
I mean, we didn't really talk about the tight ends. Do you have
Yeah,
anything you want
yeah.
to, what do you think about Hawkinson? Well, give me Njoku coming from a Browns perspective. You look at him more closely than a lot of people probably.
Yeah, I love first of all, I love David Njoku, like the person, the player. He's awesome. Like he's so fun to watch. He's so talented. And he's really grown like over the course of his NFL career. Like if you
Yeah.
watch, his hands have gotten better. He still has a just occasional stupid ass drop or fumble. Like it's honestly like just so hard to watch sometimes. But he's a freak, man. Like some of the catches this guy makes is just insane. After the catch, like so as a tight end too, like in this league, to have Hawkinson and Njoku as your tight, like we didn't even talk about his tight ends. He probably
Yeah.
has a top five, if not top three, tight end group in the UFL, bro.
I
Like
think that saves him with the Marvin Harrison situation. If Marvin Harrison ends up being a bum and he can't consistently score points, he can play Hawkinson probably every week or one of them every week and be safe to get 12, 15 points and make sure he's not just getting zeros.
yeah, literally the only person I see ahead of him in tight ends is Devin with the unreal Brock Bowers and
Yeah.
Laporta, and then. Not even Owen because we don't know yet with Kelsey and we don't know yet with Loveland, but Owen's definitely really good. Don't get me wrong. So yeah, we're talking about the second best tight end room in the UFL, and we didn't even mention them as playing, bro. Like
Yeah.
that's how good this team is. His tight ends are just bench guys that he just has. Like we're talking about 12, 15 point per game guys, and they're just chilling on your bench. So, I mean, I'm glad you brought that up. I didn't even think about his tight ends. Hawkinson obviously has had a very productive career. Injuries have always kind of slowed him down a little bit, but he's still a top five, top 10 tight end in this league, right?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I feel like the tight ends, it's hard to gauge them because some
Yeah.
teams are using them more than others. Like I feel like they don't like rank the same based on the stats always. I feel like what he's probably bringing to the table is definitely some security, and that's probably going to be interesting to see what JJ does with that. Because I feel like Kevin O'Connell is up there as probably he's got to be like the best play caller in the league
Yeah.
in some regard because it doesn't matter who he's got at quarterback. They all look good.
Yeah.
All of them seem like they know what's going on. They're all getting the ball to the person that needs to get the ball, and Justin Jefferson seems to love it. So I'm excited to see what happens there.
100%. 100%, man. But yeah, I think we're talking about a really good team. My win total prediction, like let's see, last year. I mean, we're talking about 9-5 with but like I'm not saying Marvin Harrison Jr. had a bad rookie season. He had like 800, 900 yards. Like that's still good. But like not what we thought Marvin Harrison. Stroud, horrible year. Like, and he still went 9-5. Man, I think we see Andrew with his first ever double digit win season this year. I mean, dude, give me 10-4. Give me 10-4 for Andrew. He does have to go through a gauntlet at the start. Like, I'm not gonna lie, he's probably gonna get a lot of damage done there. But like, if you can just get to that back half, you can just survive. I think he's gonna be running hot into the postseason. Give me 10-4. Do you have a record prediction you'd like to share?
I like where you're coming out with the 10-4, but just looking at Andrew's track record right there, I have a feeling that we might be in store for another 9-win season.
Okay.
It might be different. He might be scoring better,
Yeah.
but something's telling me that he's pretty likely to get a 9-win season regardless.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Also, well, we should add this though. Let me add this though. Andrew, there was an article written on this UFL newsletter. Go check it out about Andrew's luck that he has had, and it's insane. He's the only owner with positive luck percentage. And for everybody listening, luck is a new stat, a new metric we have added to the UFL this year. It's a certain formula that takes into account it's basically it's whatever no, it's not a formula. It's really simple actually. All it is your league win percentage minus your win per or your win percentage minus your league win percentage. So the point is Andrew won 64% of his games last year. If he were to face everybody in the league that particular week, week on week, he really should have won 50% of his games. So he had 14% luck. So you're constantly seeing a better win percentage each season than his league win percentage, which means he was getting very lucky with whoever he played that week was just having a bad week. And he really should have gotten beat by other owners in the league. So we are talking about an extremely lucky owner. Like just for context, right here, Brandon, the last 2 years,
Yeah.
just horrid luck on Brandon's part. So we are talking about a very lucky guy. Like some of these seasons right here, we could have easily saw 500 or worse. So don't get me wrong. We are looking at a very lucky owner, but at the end of the day, a power score above 70, 75 is very good. And that's 3 out of the 5 seasons. Like he's a good owner. It's a good team. I'm seeing double digits, man. And who knows, dude? He could go win the cup this year. I'm excited to see what Andrew brings to the table this year.
No, I'm excited too. I'm looking for a move though after week 1. I think he needs to go get somebody off waivers to just add something else to the bench.
Yeah, 100%. Just real quick, cat perspective wise, quarterback room, obviously something to look out for just for the future. I assume this will be the last year he pairs Stafford with Stroud. Running back room, he's looking really good with Walker and Irving. Super, super cheap running back room right now. His RB3. All that matters to Andrew is it's $1 million. That's all he cares about. Just throw whoever you want as the RB3. Wide receiver room is something to look after. Lamb is set at 34 million. That was an extension done last season. Godwin at 22 million. That's your guy. If things were to go south, look for Godwin to be a trade candidate, but I assume he will stay a part of Stiffel's roster for at least a year or two more. Obviously, Marvin Harrison and BTJ on rookie deals with Kyle Williams. Tight end room, same for Godwin. If things were to blow up randomly, Godwin, Hawkinson, and Njoku would be your trade candidates. But overall, he's sitting fine. The cap will go up next year. So for now, we're looking like a team that is still in his window, his contending window. Andrew Stiffel, can he win the UFL Cup in 2025? Man, we are excited to find out. Jared, thank you so much for being on today. Do you have anything else for us?
No, I think we got it all right there. We definitely hit a lot of things right there. But no, I was glad to talk about it. I think it was a good preview to start with Andrews. You know, somebody that we can be looking forward to at least competing for a cup.
Yeah, I agree. I thought that was phenomenal. That was a great pod. Thank you all for listening. Brandon Buckner will be next. That's another damn good team that I'm excited to talk about who's made a lot of trades this offseason for the first time ever. Brandon Buckner will be coming next. Thank you for listening to episode 7 of the UFL Newsletter Podcast.